Hey, it's April with A Possible Diet, and today's tutorial is faux chutney. I am a super fan of curry chicken salad. It's a great snack, but it contains chutney. And I've made actually a Whole30 chutney before that was pretty good, but it was still high in carbs because it used fresh mango, and a fresh mango has like 50 grams of carbs per serving. And when I came up with the recipe, it was really high. So I wanted to come up with a chutney that had less than 20 grams of carbs per serving. And I do this by using organic mango powder, which I was able to find online. It's lower in carbs and it packs more flavor per tablespoon than a fresh mango, oddly enough. And then apple apricot sauce. I don't use dried fruit in this chutney. Dried fruit is very popular in most chutneys, but things like raisins and dates are very concentrated in carbs because if you think about it, they take all the water out, and so all that's really left is the sugar. So this is my faux chutney for your viewing pleasure. We're going to start with about a teaspoon of coconut oil, just eyeballing this. And then a tablespoon of grated onion. I use grated onion instead of chopped onion because it gets the onion really, really small. Add that in there. And you just grate it on a grater. There's no special technique to it. Then you want to add garlic and ginger. I'm just using my Gourmet Garden stir-in paste. So about a teaspoon and a half of garlic. Use like clove and a half. Eyeballing this as well. I eyeball a lot of things when I cook. I'm not a perfect measurer every time. After making these recipes over and over for months and months, you get a sense of how much you need of something. And then a teaspoon of ginger, so slightly more garlic than ginger. Stir that up until it's fragrant. And then I'm going to add a 1/4 cup of very finely diced red bell pepper. You're going to cook this mixture just until it softens. Now I'm going to add a 1/4 teaspoon of yellow mustard seed. And you can leave the mustard seed out, but it's common to a lot of chutneys, and I find it's worth having in the house. It gives it just gives it this like something that you can't get from another flavor. It's like lemony and fennelly and mustardy. It's kind of a different flavor. And then 2 teaspoons of Yuzu hot sauce. Now, this is from Trader Joe's. They don't always sell it, but it's basically like a citrus hot sauce. So if you can find a, this basically has no calories per teaspoon, which means it has like less than 1 calorie. So if you can find like a low calorie citrusy hot sauce elsewhere, you can use that instead. I like the flavor that this adds. And it makes this chutney pretty spicy. This chutney's got some heat, so if you don't like heat, feel free to just use 1 teaspoon or omit it entirely. But that's kind of one of the characteristics of chutney, is that it's spicy and tangy and oniony and sweet. All those wonderful flavors together. I've used this on grilled fish, on chicken, in a wrap. You can mix it with mayonnaise and make like a sauce, but mostly what I use this for is my curried chicken salad, which I'm going to link to this video. Once that gets going, I've mixed 3 tablespoons of organic rice vinegar with 3 tablespoons of the mango powder. The mango powder has a tendency to clump up. You can see it in there. But you know, it eventually kind of like cooks down a little bit. It doesn't get really beautiful, so just be aware of that. Go ahead and add in the vinegar mango powder goop. Give it a stir. And now it just smells like hot vinegar. I used unseasoned rice vinegar, which doesn't have any sugar in it. Make sure that you use unseasoned rice vinegar. And then a container of this apple apricot sauce. Dried apricots is another thing that you find in a lot of chutney recipes, and I was going to use apricot jam, like an all-fruit apricot jam, but when I looked at the jam, even the all-fruit one, it had more sugar per serving than this did, and less fiber, so that's why I'm using apple apricot sauce instead of apricot jam. I think the apples, you know, they temper the sugars in the apricot, it must be. Give this all a stir. And then this is the part at which I like to just taste it, make sure it's on point. That's pretty good. The other thing that I add to this to make it sweeter without adding any calories is I add golden monk fruit. You can use regular monk fruit if you like, just a tablespoon. And then a few grinds of salt and pepper. And then the last thing is I add a pinch of vindaloo seasoning. I get this from Savory Spice Shop. It has turmeric, cinnamon, garlic, fenugreek salt, brown mustard, coriander, cumin, ginger, cayenne, cardamom, black pepper, and cloves. There's something that this adds to it. It's kind of like the mustard seed. It just like, it kind of gives it this flavor that you just can't get any other way. And I'm really careful. I don't like to add, see, I like to add too much. You really just want like that much, like, you know, a sprinkle, maybe like an 1/8 or a 1/16 of a teaspoon, not much at all. But that cumin will give your chutney a really nice flavor. And I'm cooking this over medium-high heat. You do kind of want it to boil, but you're going to have to keep stirring it so that it doesn't burn. You'll notice that in a lot of recipes, sometimes I season in the beginning and then season again at the end, and then sometimes I don't add any salt and pepper until the end. I think it's a habit because I used to live with a roommate who didn't like salt in anything, so I just got used to not cooking with salt, and then I would just salt my own food later. So. All right, give it one more taste. And that is just perfect. So yeah, this makes about a cup of faux chutney, and when I figured out the carbs, it was something like 20 or 23 for like a 1/4 cup, which was not bad at all. Again, it depends on what brand of mango powder you use, but and if you can get this apple apricot sauce, or you're just using regular like pureed apricots or pureed apples, but this is a lot lower carb than something like apricot jam or Major Grey's chutney. And it'll give a nice flavor to pretty much anything you're looking to add a tang to. So enjoy. Thanks.